Welcome, everybody. I'm joined here today on this Christmas Eve with Mark Hodnott. How are you doing, sir?
Well, ho 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 to you, Mr. Millbilly. It's yeah, it's really Christmas Eve in Australia, given where we are in time zone. So it's presently just a little after 9 p.m. on Friday the 24th.
hmm
So Santa's out there somewhere. He comes here pretty early on, so he's probably over in New Zealand right now,
Yep.
and he'll be over here shortly. So
It's just past 4 in the morning here in Wisconsin.
right, yes. So well, there's you've got a lot of beers to drink before Christmas. So, yeah, but things are well. It's what a crazy year it's been for a whole host of reasons, and but you only have to think about people less advantaged than ourselves to realize how fortunate we are, and none less than someone like Stephen, Avery, and Brendan, and so on. But particularly Stephen, because I have a lot to do with him. Um, I was fortunate enough this morning, my time, which would have been Thursday afternoon his time. So I got that right? Yes, Thursday afternoon his time. So I had a Zoom call with Stephen, which was fantastic. I got to see him, which is the first time I'd physically seen him for 21 months, I guess, something like that. And he looked remarkably well. I mean, physically he looked just fantastic. Still got his crazy white hair, of course, um, but he looked great, and he was just full of beans and full of happiness and joy, and it was an absolute pleasure to speak with him. And hardly a minute goes by in a conversation with Stephen that he isn't chuckling about something and talking about his future outside of prison. So let's hope that next year, even though we keep saying it, let's hope that next year is a really good year for him. So yeah, so it's a fortunate thing, As I think I said in a message earlier this week, there's he's had something like 34 Christmases behind bars. That'd be bad enough just on itself, but when you're having that and you're wrongfully convicted, I just can't get my head around how that must feel. So I'm very, very sort of reflective of that in
I
my
agree.
own set of circumstances. I even said today, Stephen, I said, do they do anything special for Christmas in the prison? He goes, no, just another day. So I don't know. I just can't get my head around what that must be like. And anyway, I'm very, very fortunate I have a chance to interact with him, and he sends out his best wishes to everyone and asks me to pass them on. I hope to actually speak to him tomorrow morning, my time, and which will be in the afternoon of the day you're now in. Um, and I might have a little audio message to pass on, hopefully, after that call. So we'll see. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, and how's life with you, Mr. Millbilly, at this crazy hour of the morning, 4 a.m. for you?
Well, this year's been crazy.
Yep.
I'm thankful I have my health,
Yep.
for most importantly, and the people that I do have in my life.
Yeah. I mean, they're everything, aren't they? You know, when it all boils down to it, the people that you love and care for the most are really the only thing that matters. Um, the rest of the stuff in our lives is just stuff. Um, that ability to give someone a hug and for them to hug you, that people that you care about, that's the most precious asset we all have. And sometimes it's easy to forget, and we take people that are important to us a little bit for granted, not intentionally, but we do sometimes. And it's always very important, in my view at least, to nurture relationships, whether it's with your life partner or your children or your extended family or your wider community. um, Look after those relationships. They're the things that sustain you throughout life, especially when you get into those older years. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this year has been crazy. Well, these past 2 years it's been crazy with all this
I know.
COVID stuff, and
Yeah, it's
you
just
think how
like,
it impacts our lives. You got to think how it's impacting all the prisoners' lives too. They're not
yeah, I
getting
mean, like,
visits like they used to, and
no, well, they went almost 18 months with no visits, none whatsoever. Since July, I can only speak for the Wisconsin system because I don't know of it in the other ones, but since July, they've had limited visits. Whereas previously, when you visited Stephen, you could be there for as long as 3.5 hours. That was the limit. That's a good amount of time to share with each other. Now, the maximum visit is an hour and a half, and there is not as many days available to visit on either. They've shortened the number of days in the week that you can go and visit as well. Now, we're grateful for what we have, not what we don't have, but still, you know, when you're living in a little 8 by 10 room with not much interaction with the rest of the world, visits are very precious things, and very, very precious things. And it's been a really tough year for everyone in the prison system. Whether you're wrongfully convicted or properly convicted, it's been a very tough year. So, um, and we can all do our best by doing our best in protecting those around us by, I won't get on my high horse, but getting vaccinated and making sure that you're doing all you can to minimize the spread of COVID. So we sometimes forget, Millbilly, that even though we may be vaccinated, that your capacity to transmit the disease is still there. And so it's really important to understand that, to take on that responsibility of being careful, wear masks for God's sake, you know,
yeah, the vaccine is just to make it so that if you do get COVID, the symptoms will be less likely to be severe.
correct, and less likely to be hospitalized. But you can still be carrying the virus and passing it on to people who are either unvaccinated or are vulnerable because have low immunity systems, and who can easily catch it from anyone. So we all just need to do our best. I'm sure we're going to get, I mean, I'm no scientist, obviously, but I'm sure we're going to get to a position when the virus will ultimately be something of a relatively low level that we might need annual vaccinations for. But for the time being, there are people extremely vulnerable in this situation, and we can all help the circumstances by getting out there and getting vaccinated, getting your booster shots if that's where you're at in the cycle or whatever, and just play our part and do that because we're lucky. We live in a country, or you live in a country, and I live in a country where they have the economic means to support the population in these things. There's no excuse for Australians or Americans or other countries to not to be vaccinated. Whereas many countries in the world just don't have the economic means, and we need all them to get vaccinated as well.
The thing I just don't understand is why are they paying people to get the vaccine?
Well, it's a shame that that's seemingly necessary. To me, it's all about stepping up to the plate and taking on your responsibility of a citizen in a community. I mean, I'm double vaccinated, not just because I want to protect myself, because I just feel it's my duty to be, um, for my family, for my community, for anyone who I interact with. I live in a community, I don't live in a little bubble, and therefore I have a duty beyond my own personal views about things. Um, And the truth is, this is just a mathematical truth, is the vast majority of people who are getting seriously sick and dying are people who are unvaccinated. That's just the reality of the math. There's no conspiracy theories or other weirdness about that. That's just the truth. The vaccines don't totally stop, but are going to create a barrier where you're less likely to get seriously ill. And if you're less likely to get seriously ill, you're not going to add to the pressure of the hospital system that has to be there for everyday illnesses and sicknesses and accidents. Um, you don't want to be occupying a bed that you could have avoided occupying by being vaccinated. So,
I agree.
yeah. So, anyway, I go on about that stuff forever, but to me, it's just about being a good citizen. That's the way I see it. And we have countries that give us this stuff for free, provide economic support, at least in the past. We should step up to the plate and play our bit. That's what being in a democracy is about. It's about being responsible. It's not about just taking handouts or expecting governments to do everything. It's all up to us. So, yeah. Hey, by the way, can I just ask you, can you hear me okay? Because I can kind of hear a little bit of a bubble. Okay, you can't, no interference in terms of my voice. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So how will you spend Christmas, Millbilly?
Well, depends if I want to drive up where my daughter is right now, but
Yep.
We'll see.
So, okay. And it's summer in Australia, of course, so our Christmas is a very different one from yours. Like today outside, it was about, in Fahrenheit, was about 85 degrees, 85, 90 degrees.
It's 26 degrees Fahrenheit right now, but there's no snow on the ground, so I'm thankful for that.
See this guy here? This is Santa on a surfboard, right? So that's how he often comes in Australia. So, yeah, it seems a bit strange that for a lot of people to have a summer for Christmas, but it's what we do. We typically hang around in families. We might go down to the beach. We might be around a swimming pool. It's barbecues. It's all sorts of things. So, and it's a big summer. It'd be like you having Christmas in July, right? When it's full summer vacation for school kids and all that sort of jazz. So it's quite the holiday period here. So yeah.
Yep. But I don't know. Hopefully it'll be a good day. Hopefully it'll be good weather if I do choose to drive all the way up there.
Have you finished work for Christmas now? You don't have to work tomorrow. Tonight your time.
The day after.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. No rest for the wicked, right? So
no.
Well, I'm hopeful that I don't mean just to be optimistic. I'm very hopeful that 2022 will bring a lot of new stuff forward on Stephen and Brendan's cases. There are things going on in the background that haven't yet been sort of publicly made known, but I'm aware of them. So I'm sure we'll hear more as the year unfolds, and hopefully the boys can get out and get back to where they belong. So,
most definitely.
Yeah. So. Yep.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to me. Give us an update on Stephen and how he's doing, and hopefully you'll have a voice message for us next time.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. And once again, I'll just pass on my thoughts from Stephen. He was very particular to pass on his best wishes to everyone. He's very positive. He's very well. He's excited about what the future has to offer for him, and we're going to ride on that wave with him and give him all the support we can.
Well, when you talk to him, tell him I say Merry Christmas, and I hope he has a very happy New Year.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Millbilly. All the best to you, and thanks for all your support during the year, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And thank you. All the best, mate. Bye now.